to week 7 of the Stronger Bones Challenge. So today we're going to be working on lower body strength. So strength training, we know, is super important, not only because it helps to strengthen our bones, but we're working our muscles, we're building muscle mass and muscle strength, and the two are interconnected. So for this workout, you can see I've got a mat. I'm not working in trainers because I prefer to be super stable into the floor, but if you feel more comfortable and more stable in trainers, then please wear them. And you need one set of dumbbells. Now, my set of dumbbells, I've got a slightly heavier set. Because it is our lower body, we can probably afford to try to lift that weight, lift a slightly heavier weight. And that's because we won't be lifting the weights overhead. We'll pretty much be holding them at our side, or we'll be working with one close. Now, as I talked about in the last video, what weight is going to be different for you. But what you want to be feeling is that by the time we get to the end of our little set, our little series of each exercise, it should feel tough, but you've still got like a little bit of gas in the tank, okay? And that's a really good indicator that you're working to the right intensity, because remember, we need to be challenging our bones, okay? If you get to the end of each set or each little movement and you don't feel challenged, it doesn't feel tough at all, then you know that you need to maybe intensify the challenge. But like anything, you have to do it in your own time. You have to feel comfortable. So also, if you're not comfortable lifting the weights yet, you can do all of these exercises with body weight alone. So let's get started. We're going to do a quick warm up, and we're going to start with 10 basic squats. So legs a comfortable distance apart, toes pointing slightly outwards, bending the knees, hinging from the hips, and standing up nice and tall. Now I'm going to turn to the side so you can see, straight down and straight up. And this is, we want to get a bit of movement through our legs. We're also working through the ankles. And remember, we want that hinging action. So we're going to be working all the major muscle groups in our legs in just 10 minutes. So it's going to be a real quick one. We're going to be working 30 seconds on. We're going to have a little 15 seconds rest, and we're going to do it twice, each exercise twice, 5 exercises. So once you've finished your beautiful lunges there, or squats there, we're going to start some little hip circles. So you're going to lift the leg up, circle it up and over. I always like to just imagine it's like you're kind of climbing over the garden gate, right? Or kind of climbing onto a horse. Wherever your imagination takes you, often takes me funny places, yeah? So we're going to do a few more of these. It's also good for balance, challenging and loading each hip, getting a bit of that lovely WD-40, right, for our hips, getting everything moving. Now once you've finished your last one on each leg, we're going to move into some little calf raises. So rising up onto our tiptoes, lowering onto our heels. So as we said before, we've only got 10 minutes. So if you feel that you need a longer warm up, please go and watch some of the other videos or do your own little warm up. Make sure that your heart rate's up, okay? That's super important. Now once you've finished your last 3, 2, hold on to something if you're unsteady, last 1, give those legs a lovely little shake out, and we're going to move into our first exercise. Now our first exercise is going to be a weighted squat, right? We're really breaking or reinventing the wheel. Now you're only going to need one weight for this one. If you're only using light dumbbells, feel free to squeeze 2 together, but I'm going to hold on to my weights, you can see, in this position. So I've gripped them underneath and I'm keeping my weight close to my chest. That's super important, gang. Now I want you to come into exactly the same position we started in. Feet are a comfortable distance apart, toes are slightly pointing out, bend your knees, hinge from your hips, stand up nice and tall. Now the depth in your squat is going to be different to mine, okay? Depth in squat has a lot to do with mobility. It depends on the ankle mobility, hip mobility, and upper back, right? We think of our body being like, everything is interconnected and it plays. Now we've got about 15 more seconds here, okay? And remember, you want to be working at that intensity that you think, okay, I'm starting to get tired now. So let's finish our last 4 and 3 Last two. Last one, best one ever. Stand up nice and tall. We have that little 15-second rest. So, like anything, feel free to put your weight down, and be careful, gang, when you're picking up those weights and putting them down. You know, we've got to have good practice all the way through our workouts, not just when we're exercising. All these things matter. Because we are working with heavy weights, feel free to put them down in between. We have about 15 seconds rest between each set, right? And we want to get our heart rate up a little bit. We want to feel that by the time we get to the end of those reps, you know, we're tired, but we've still got some gas left in that tank. So when you're ready, grab hold of the weights. Remember, keep it close to the chest, legs comfortable distance apart, bend your knees, sit into your squat, stand up tall. Now, if this doesn't feel good, you remember in the first video that we did, week 1, we had a sit to stand option. So that meant that we had the chair, we sat down on the chair and we stood up. I want you to go back to that if you don't feel, or if you feel that this is too hard for you. If you feel that this is easy for you, remember, you can pick up your pace. You can also add resistance. So there's lots of options to layer this very simple but effective exercise. So have that little breather. The next exercise we're going to be doing is going to be a sumo squat. Yes, we love our squats. Now, the difference with this squat is it's much wider and we're turning the legs out. So when we turn the legs out, we're working into those external rotators in the hip, which is very important for hip mobility. Now, from there, we're going to hold our weights quite low. Now, because I've got a heavy weight, I can hold it here. But if you've only got slightly smaller dumbbells, you may want to keep it close to your chest. Choose the option that works for you. We're going to bend the knees, and you send the knees over the toes, the hips straight down in the middle, and you keep your back straight, and then you stand up tall, like a sumo wrestler, right? Down and up. Now I'm going to turn to the side so you can see, okay? I'm keeping my hips underneath me as much as I can. Now, if you find that you have to hinge from the hips, right, due to your hip mobility, then I don't want you to worry. Work with your own body and what feels right for you. So, here we go, gang. 30 seconds on the clock. In 3, 2, 1, off we go. Bend and press. So I always imagine sending my knees to the back of the room to get that external rotation in the hips and kind of pushing through my little toes. So what we don't want to have is those knees collapse inwards. We want to press them out. We've got 15 seconds left, okay? Keeping that spine straight. Remember, the speed that you work at makes a difference, okay? So we don't want to rush through it. We want to lower and lift with control. Lower and lift with control. Last 2. Last 1. Standing up nice and tall, okay? Taking that little breather, okay? 15 seconds rest, and then we're gonna repeat it all over again, okay? So remembering, rushing through the movement, this is a chance for us to build good foundation. We've only got 10 minutes, that's okay, but we can still do it with good form and with beautiful control. So here we go, 30 seconds on the clock, and stretch, bend, and stretch. And you know, when it feels really hard, don't forget to smile. And I say that because, you know, when I start to feel like, oh, this is going to be tough, that is the time to give yourself a big smile, okay? We're into our last 10 seconds, yeah? So you can get a bit deeper in that squat. Make sure those knees are tracking over the toes and those hips are directly underneath you. Last one here. Stand up nice and tall, and take a little breather. Now, for the next exercise, we are moving into a reverse lunge. Now, I'm going to bend down and pick up both of my weights. So I want you to hold both your weights down by your side. That is all they're doing. Now, option number 1, which is slightly more challenging, is a reverse lunge. So I'm going to step back, see if I can tap my knee down, and then step my feet together. Back and together, back and together. Now, if that feels too challenging, or maybe you have knee issues, I want you to try a static lunge. So you're going to have right foot forward, left foot back. Back heel stays lifted through the entirety so that you can push into the ball of your foot and keep your weight balanced in the center. Now, exactly the same, you'll bend both knees and lift. If that knee does not tap down on the floor, it is not the end of the world, gang. You've got to work with where you are. So I'm going to do the first variation for our first 30 seconds and the second variation, the static lunge, for my second. Okay, gang, so here we go. Off we go, stepping back and together. Now what we're trying to maintain is to move with control. Yes, we've only got 30 seconds. We are lifting slightly heavier weights, okay? We've got to make sure that we control the movement. I try and keep my spine as straight as possible, and I take a big step back. Now you do not want to have, like I just did there, a really narrow stance, okay? You want to think hip width apart. Give yourself lots of space to move. We've got our last one here. Stand up tall. I'm going to put my weights down. Notice that I hinge from the hips while we have our 10 to 15 second rest here. Now, that is a really challenging exercise, but it's very important, right, for longevity and to be able to keep our stride, right, to be able to walk strong. All these are super functional for everyday movements. Now, the next set, pick up those weights again. I'm going to do a static lunge, just so you can see. If you did the static lunge the first time, make sure to change those legs. So, one foot forward, the other foot back. Here we go, 30 seconds on the clock. Making sure that the stride is long enough. So if you're really bunched up, it's going to be difficult, gang. So make sure, pushing the floor away, down and up. Now if you find it's too much on one side for 30 seconds, feel free to switch, okay? Especially the more you do this class. We've got about 5 more here. 4, pushing with control. 3, 2, if you're doing those reverse lunges, make sure you're alternating. Last 1. Step those feet together. Hinge from the hips as you put your weight down. Give those arms a little shake. Very well done. So, we let our breath come down. We worked lunges and squats. Now we're going to move into our final little exercise, which is going to be a hip hinge with the weights. Now, for this one, because you've got the option, you can use 2 weights, but I'm going to suggest, because this is beginner or aimed, you know, if you're a beginner to all of this, to use just 1. So I can hold the end of my dumbbell here. I'm going to keep it close to my thighs. From there, I've got my feet directly underneath my hips, and I'm going to take a small bend in the knee. From there, I'm going to imagine that I've got a newspaper under my armpit, and I'm going to squeeze it. You know when you've got to hold something tight, so I'm going to squeeze it there. That connects my back. I slide my weights down my legs. You notice that I've pushed my hips back and my spine is straight. I then stand up, so I push my hips forward. I slide the weights up and I stand tall. So I haven't had to move my arms at all. My body moves because my hips go back and my hips go forward. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Back and forward, okay? So what I want you to do is grab that weight if you weren't doing it with me, and we're gonna go for our 30 seconds. So here we go, guys. 30 seconds with that hip hinge, yeah? Bend those knees. It's very important to not lock those knees up. Soft bend, hinge, and up. Now, how low you go really depends on the length of your hamstring, right? If you go and you start to feel the back round, or you start to feel it through the lumbar, it could be that we're not hinging enough. Or it could be, you know, that we've reached that length of the hamstring and now we're flexing from our waist. So I really always want you to imagine bum back. It's like someone's pulling your hips back because you've got that long spine, and lift. Have that little breather there. Pop that weight down if you need it. So we've got about 5 to 10 seconds left here for our breather. And then we're going into that last set. Now, if any of these exercises felt too challenging, okay, remember, you can always stop, pause it, do it just with body weight, take down the weight, okay? All of the exercises are adaptable and they're designed so that you can come back to it time and time again. Now, pick up that weight, we've got our final set here, okay? So I'm holding onto my weight, I keep it close. If you're using 2 lighter dumbbells, it's exactly the same, gang, okay? So feet hip width apart. From there, here we go, 30 seconds on the clock, pushing back and lifting up, okay? All the time, I'm really thinking, squeezing my imaginary newspaper under my arm. This helps me to engage all the muscles down the side of the back. I'm maintaining a little bend in my knee. What I don't want to do is go down with a flat back, because then what happens is we get a lovely stretch for the hamstring and we don't get that same activation through the glutes. Now this is our functional exercise. We want to be doing this when we're going to lift something heavy. You know, this really helps, this move in particular helps reduce our fracture risk tremendously. So it's really important to feel comfortable here. And relax. And there we have it, gang. Bend those knees, pop the weight down, just shake the hands if it was a bit heavy. We're going to do a couple of little stretches here. So move those weights out of the way and I'll see you on the mat. So let's finish with 2 very, very quick stretches. Come and lie onto your side. I'm just using a little block or little balance pad as a head cushion. Okay, coming and lying on your back. From there, I want you to cross your left ankle over your right knee. From there, you're going to push your knee away from you. Now, you might feel if you're tight in your hips that this is quite a big stretch, particularly if you gently press the knee away from you. If you feel that you want more of a stretch, you're going to lift the legs up. Now, the more I push this knee into this ankle, the deeper stretch I'm going to feel. You can also grab or thread the hands through the legs, grab the back of the thigh, pull the knee towards you. You're just going to hold it here and just take some nice little deep breaths here. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Now, it's very, very important to stretch out the leg muscles after we've done a workout, okay? And tends that people get quite tight in the hips and the glutes. So this is a really simple figure 4 stretch. I'm gently rocking here because it feels good for me, but don't feel you have to. You can always hold it. And then once you've taken a couple nice deep breaths there, just very gently pop the leg down, uncross the ankle, cross right ankle over left. Press the knee away from you, pull the legs towards you. Remember, you can thread the hands through and grab hold of the back of my left thigh. And the more I push this knee into this ankle, the bigger stretch I'm going to feel. You can also use the elbow to press out. Remember, if you can't lift those hips up, just pushing that knee away, right? Keeping my pelvis still and pushing the knee away is still going to give you a big stretch. Hold it here for that extra second. You can always close your eyes. Let your heart rate come down. Take a couple nice deep breaths here. And relax. From there, just very gently pop both feet on the mat. Squeeze the knees together and press the hands into the floor. Just very gently take the knees from right to left. This just helps to loosen through the lower back. What I want you to be careful of is I want you to stabilize or really press the shoulder blades into the mat. I don't want you to let the legs drop, okay? I'm only taking my knees as far as I can maintain my opposite shoulder, and this creates a gentle stretch through the lumbar. What we don't want to do is just release, right? We want to really control our rotations from the center. Now, once you finish your last one in each direction, you can hug those knees into the chest. Give that lower back a little stretch, maybe even circle those knees side to side. When you're ready to sit up, make sure you roll onto your side and sit yourself up. And there we have it. There is your quick lower body workout. Well done. Keep coming back to this, playing with the resistance and the challenge each time. And I look forward to seeing you for week 8 of the challenge.